You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. Got a special guest in the building.
My favorite corporate thug motivator is back.
Gary V.
Guys, thank you for having me again. I'm humbled.
Thank you for coming and joining us.
Tomorrow's your born day.
Today is my birthday.
Today's your born day, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, happy born day
Jackie
to Gary
Robinson.
Wow.
How you feeling, man?
I feel 24.
Wow.
That's good. You got the new K-Swiss sneakers, too? Is that what you have on your feet right now?
I do. Can you believe this? Can you believe that entrepreneurs now have sneakers? Look at this. And my signature.
Is that money green?
Let me see the signature.
This is New York Jets green.
Oh, okay.
You know me.
New York Jets green.
My first book was green. Everything's green. Yeah, man, it's super crazy. I can't believe, growing up in the 80s and growing up through the Jordan stuff, I wore, by the way, I've never wore a pair of Jordans in my life.
Really?
Because I'm a real Knicks fan.
Okay.
And real Knicks fans don't wear Jordans.
So what did you wear?
So Envy,
Ewings. Those Adidas, baby.
Those hurt your feet,
Envy, you're not a real
Those
Knicks
did
fan.
hurt my feet.
Ewings hurt your feet.
Those did.
I wore them too, but they hurt my feet
They
too.
hurt my feet, but I've never in my life worn a pair of Jordans. As a matter of fact, I came home a couple weeks ago, and my wife buys 47 pairs of shoes from Zappos and then picks one and sends them back. That's what they do.
Right.
Anyway, I walked in, I saw a Jordan box, lost my mind.
Even to this day, you hold grudges, Gary?
Oh, this is amazing.
gracious,
Get ready.
Gary.
Wait till you hear what I did. Grabbed it, walked outside, right outside my doors to shoot for the garbage, and threw it out.
Why would you do that?
You didn't even try to resell
Guys,
it?
I hate Michael Jordan so much.
Even now?
Even right there. Yes, now.
Goodness gracious, Gary.
I'd have a ring. I'd have a ring if it wasn't for that man.
Yeah.
Now, what if Michael
you don't
Jordan-
play for the Knicks, right?
I do.
What if Michael Jordan asked
I
you to
figured
do
that out about second grade. I was more likely to own the Knicks than play for them.
What if Michael Jordan asked you to do a Jordan with him? You wouldn't have done it?
No, I mean this. I would not do it.
Not even the
listen,
Knicks colors? Or Jets colors?
No, I wouldn't. Tom Brady and Jordan are the two guys that I'm just not willing to fuck with.
I love it.
Goodness gracious.
I like that's integrity, man.
Right.
It's sports muscles, right? You're pumped, right? I don't get it. You can't, if you're 40 and older and you're a diehard Knicks fan and you're rocking Jordans, I'm confused.
Oh,
Well, Envy's not a diehard fan.
Oh, my goodness. I got Jordans on right now.
But Envy's the same
No,
guy
you're
that
not.
if the Giants are winning, he'll wear the Giants. If the Jets are winning, he'll wear the
That is not
Jets.
true.
He talk about this all
Envy?
New York.
I'm
He
a
reps New York.
Giants fan.
Okay,
I'm
respect,
a Giants fan.
respect.
But if the Giants lose and the Jets win, I'm a New York and I want the Jets to win.
I understand
That's
that.
it is. That's what it
on the
is.
other hand, am not because I root for the inferior New York team. You can't do that when you're a Jets fan. Giants have won 4 rings.
Right.
When you've won 4, that's the way I'm with the Mets. I'm a Yankee fan. I like for the Mets to do well because I've won my championships.
Correct.
Right? But when you're still struggling to get yours, like the Jets fans are, I've got no love
Would
for
you
the blue.
do business with Michael Jordan? You're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely not.
What? Not
I'll
even
tell you-
business?
I'll tell you
What
why.
is wrong with you?
I'm emotional in one place. When it comes to business, unemotional. When I read all the comments, on social, I suck, I'm the worst. I love that. Feeds me. But I'm unemotional when it comes to business, which is why I'm successful. I'm absolutely emotional when it comes to sports.
What if it was for
I'm aware-
charity,
I'm
Gary V? What if
Charity's
it was for
different.
charity? And
But I
Michael
would just-
Jordan said,
I would say,
change for
is there any
change.
way you can get Oakley to be the face of this? I'll give the money. I just want Oak. Can you make Oak? This is the other secret thing a lot of Knicks fans don't know how close Oakley and Jordan are.
Oh, yeah, best friends.
Best.
Yeah, they used to play together. Oakley was on the board.
He did. He did.
Gamble
Now,
together.
speaking of giving money,
They
you know
really
we-
do
you know we're
gamble
doing
together.
this thing-
Anne's dropping the real
You know
shit.
we're
Gamble
doing this thing on
together.
Thursday.
Okay,
It's
I'm in.
called Breakfast Club Change for Change.
I'm in.
We're donating money to the Gathering for Justice organization, and they're the fiscal sponsors of Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights Camp.
Love it.
The Women's March and the Justice League NYC.
Huge.
So donate what
How
you
can
can, Gary.
I will. I will.
You can?
Text change.
I will.
Text change.
To 52182.
There you go.
Is there something I could do a little bit more? Can we do something crazy like this? Can we do
Talk
a
to me.
campaign on Twitter right now where if somebody uses a hashtag, one of you guys make it up right now?
Change for change.
Fine. But add GV, right? Change for change GV.
Change
Put my
for
initial.
change,
Use this
GV.
hashtag. I will pick one person. I will pick one person and I will give them an hour of my own one-on-one business consulting time if they donate to this.
Nice package.
Okay, that'll work.
So
We
they
still
have to
need
add
to-
you also.
We still need you to spend some of your money too. though.
I don't know.
No, he's
Let's
gonna do
rewind
that.
the tape. Let's
Got you.
rewind the tape. I already committed to that.
Got you. True.
He's giving a little
Thank you.
extra.
He's giving a little extra.
So that
Little
somebody
extra.
else who
Yes.
donates is going to
Notice
end
the
up getting...
cynicism from my man. Right? He went right in. He's like, no.
That's
I'm
good.
like, no. I was like,
That's great, but
before we get off on this session, I want to again. I did it last time. I'm going to do it again because I just get so many emails. I was reading them last night. The 2017 Flip Challenge that you created by putting pressure on me here the first time I was here. It's been unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable?
I'm going to do a 20. Actually, I need to talk to you. We need to do a 2018. Unbelievable. People are making money.
No, they are. You know what my son
People
is doing
making
now?
money.
And I wanted to thank you, too. My son now is into Supreme and Bathing 8. And what he's doing is he's going online and he's, I mean, he shouldn't be doing it, but he's creating these bots and he's buying these T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and whatever he can from Supreme.
And then flipping.
And I'm getting these packages in the mail, but he's not wearing them. He's flipping them in school. So he's buying, let's say, a sweatshirt for $100 and selling it in school for $300. And this kid is actually
These kids have
Who the hell are these little
$300
kids
at
that got
school.
$300?
These kids are
That's
buying them.
amazing.
Envy's in a nice
Crazy.
neighborhood.
They got $300
What do
to
you
pay
think,
for
Envy?
Jordans.
Envy's in a nice
They
neighborhood
got
now.
$300 to pay for Jordans. They got
Don't get
$400
confused.
any of that.
Don't get
He's
confused.
doubling and tripling his money. I'm so
You
proud
want to
of
tell him a good hot tip?
Let's go ahead.
The Gary VK Swiss
The
is
Gary
going to
VK
be
Swiss?
is going to be
Flip
a
'em.
real. I honestly, I've been thinking about buying them all myself and reflipping them on eBay because
Oh my
I see
gosh.
all the dealers already like hovering, and I'm like, wait a minute, we didn't make that many. I think he's going to make a little
How
bit of
many did
coin
you
in
make?
it. 10,000.
And how can people get them?
Kswiss.com.
Kswiss.com is the
But
only
only
website.
online.
No, they're in Shoe Palace and a bunch of other retailers, but I don't know the full distribution, so I don't want to
Gotcha.
confuse people. And knowing everybody listens to this show, that's going to be the spot to get them.
You said something earlier that was interesting. You said you're 42, but you feel 24. Like, I don't feel like there's. I feel like I know more now than I did back then. Like, I don't think
better.
I would want to be 24. I even feel like I got more energy and everything. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, everything.
I think that's a modern thing, right? Like, I think 40, when I was growing up, 42 was finished. Like, 42-year-old was old, right?
Yeah,
Like, when you look at, like, when
Drink a coffee.
And by the way, that's the whole thing with, like, sneakers and streetwear and, like, our culture right now is so crazy. I think it's because a lot of us grew up in the 80s, 90s. This is when I talk about hip-hop being the seed that rules the world. White kids, black kids, Asian, like, there's something super interesting. When you look at a 45-year-old female or male business person today, they look young.
Right.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
act young. Listen, none of us want to get older. And I think the generation above us dealt with it better. They're like, "Fuck, I'm getting older. You know, we're like trying to hold on. But I agree with you. There's a total different mindset. There's a completely different air to the whole thing. And that's why I want, it's funny. I speak to a lot of kids on Instagram every day. I made a video the other day with Babin for 60-year-olds. I'm like, you're going to live for another 30 years. I know you feel like you're finished and you had your career, but if you want to, listen, if you're 63 and live in Miami, you can make a bot and buy Supreme and flip stuff.
Right, absolutely.
It's not just a kid game anymore.
not.
Technology has made us all much younger because there's so much access. I agree with you. And people are in better shape. 40-year-olds didn't take care of themselves 20 years ago.
You're right.
Now we're all in the gym. We're all look what Andrew's doing here, drinking some green juice.
Every day.
Like, like it's just different.
You told Sneaker New that your YouTube and IG started getting much younger and more urban. Why do you think hip hop gravitates towards you the way that they do?
I think I was born with nothing. I grew up in a studio apartment in Queens with 8 family members. I think hip hop and urban culture can resonate with that. I think I grew up in a neighborhood that was super diverse. Just the truth of my narrative, right? Like, I think this is in esports, in BMX bike, that whole world. I've been looking at that a little bit now, in hip hop, and in higher education, Upper East Side, higher education, Ivy League school. Like, I always feel out of place in there. But, so I just think cultures understand cultures. Like, what's great about hip hop and other subcultures is, regardless of what the person looks like, if the truth is there, it's always going to accept it. It's like, I love when Magic Johnson talks about Larry Bird, not because he puts him on. It's the look in Magic's eye.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he was a gangster basketball player. And I just think that's just how everything is. And I've noticed it not only in hip hop, but every subculture. If you are it, you are it.
What do you think about the connection between finances and mental health?
Finances and mental health. So go ahead. I want to make sure I understand.
Basically,
the question.
Tyrese went broke and went crazy. Is what
Well,
she's
I
trying to say.
wasn't saying that. But what I'm saying is a lot of people, their mental health also is really directly tied into their financial situation.
And I'm pretty interested that you just brought this up. So, again, always trying to bring value on this show. If you want to make money in the next decade and you are interested in, what Supreme and Adidas did, if you're interested in what Soul Cycle did, if you're interested in health and fitness, the next trend is meditation. If you want to get real smart, so back to, hey, give us a practical piece of advice. If you're intrigued by mental health, I'm super intrigued by this issue. So I think mental health needs to be the number one thing we talk about over the next 20 years because I think it's like alcoholism and drug abuse. We don't talk about it properly. People are sick.
Right.
And they're becoming homeless and drug addicts and being broke. Mental health is something we need to put on a pedestal and really start talking about. I think the clean version of that, the less I'm sick, the more I want to be better, is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So for people that are more fortunate and don't have mental health issues, I think meditation's a huge opportunity for people. Meditation is a huge opportunity. Everybody's going to be doing it. To answer your question directly, of course I believe like there's a direct correlation.
Mm-hmm.
If your operating system isn't right, if your brain's not right, nothing else is going to work. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's something we need to diagnose earlier, start understanding as a society how to deal with it, get rid of the stigma, and really start chipping away at it.
Now, what you got in your phone? I see you. You got some things you want to share, some jewels?
No. I'm just I'm always, the funny part is I'm still running a business.
Got you.
So I've got a couple fires going on. I got 800 employees, 4 offices. I got a big business. So thank you. I appreciate you. You're very observant. No, I'm just trying to make sure like the house is not on fire while I'm on this interview.
Now, question. With Trump in office, they're saying that we should be expecting a recession in the next year or so.
I think it's the other way around. I think that there would have been a recession but this guy is not going to let it happen on his watch. He'll mortgage the next 50 generations to make sure the economy is good during his watch. I've changed my business behavior because he won, because I did think like, wait a minute, we've had 9 good years, whether you like him or hate him, and I'm not. People are, you know how I'm emotional about sports? Politics takes it to a whole nother level. People are just on tilt right now.
Right.
So just business talk, no shot. I'd be flabbergasted if the next 3 years aren't good economy. He's just that's his full identity. It's all he's got. And he's
how
not
to make money.
He'll do whatever, he'll cut he'll do
Cut
whatever
taxes for the rich.
Our great grandkids are still going to be paying off the debt. He will not let it happen
because
on his
he went even
watch.
on the short term, as long as while he's in office.
So if you're thinking about like if people
good.
correct, if people are planning out there from a macro, listen, from a super macro, regardless of who's the president, regardless of anything, you can't be factoring that in. It's on you. The quicker you just, whether it's true or not, the quicker your head's at, it's on me, I'm going to do it regardless, the more you're going to win. But I think the economy will be good the next 3 years.
I want to talk to you about some of your Gary Vee-isms because, I follow you on Instagram, so I get them all. You say 99% of the things around us don't matter.
I just think people focus on dumb shit. Like Karen's ruining me, or my great-grandfather was an alcoholic. Like just things that I understand, but like day in and day out, we're getting caught up and we're going on defense. And I think it's all offense. Like the reason I'm obsessed with optimism, the reason I love being jamming with you and like being on this, like there's an optimistic undertone that you guys do that is so real and so important. And I think people absolutely focus on dumb stuff 99% of the time. Like I didn't get the raise, or like my favorite show got canceled. Like people complain about crazy stuff.
No, I agree with you. I think people fall back on a lot of the things that happened in the past so much they forget about the future.
I mean, let me tell you something. People use things like that as excuses not to work.
I agree.
At the end of the day, it's become a binary game for me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is the good thing about getting old. Now that I'm 42, I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. People don't want to work. So if you don't want to work, you start coming up with stuff of why you're suppressed or why it's bad or Karen is ruined. Like you just make stuff up.
Yeah, who's Karen?
I had this one the reason I keep bringing it up is
Karen Civil has the Swiss sneakers.
No. She does. She's the best. No. Literally, an employee sat in my room once 2 years ago and said, "Karen's ruining me," and I'm like, "Ruining you?" It was like that Chris Rock. Is that the Chris Rock joke? There's a joke about this. Like I don't know. She's like, she's ruining me. I'm like, ruining what? Well, she's talking shit and it's ruining. I'm like, we don't make decisions based on, like, you're not getting not promoted because Karen said you're not getting promoted because you suck. If you think I'm running a business here based on Karen saying something about you, I'm like, you're not getting promoted because you're not good at your job.
Well, the truth is pessimism never won any battle. Pessimism doesn't win any wars whatsoever.
And what I don't understand is everybody who's putting out hate and negativity online, you're always going to be historically incorrect. You're always going to get clowned on in history. And what they don't understand is your grandkids are going to look at your Instagram posts. Your grandkids are going to see what you said on Facebook. And we're documenting our journeys,
Right.
all of us. And you're going to have to answer for that. And a lot of people are not going to like what they have to talk about in 2029.
I also feel like with kids, they do have to, in school now, because we didn't grow up with social media. And that is something that in schools, they have to educate kids more on how to properly use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, because that's not something that we ever had to deal with. Like, we didn't have to worry
saying that
about,
you did a bunch of dumb shit when you were a kid, and you're
but
glad
it was
it's
a
not
documentary.
exact. I get it. But the other thing is, there's a counter move to that, Ange, which is we're also empathetic. Like, yes, we'll see a 15-year-old do something ridiculous, but there is a gear in us saying we did ridiculous stuff at 15 too. On the flip side, back to what we started this with, and there's just a lot of that energy when I'm on this show, there's a lot of things these kids are doing on social media that we could have never imagined.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm watching these kids flip back to sneakers and Supreme Gear and all this stuff. I was at ComplexCon. These kids are making money.
Yeah.
And like, it's exciting. They're learning how to do it. Like the stuff you've done in Detroit. Imagine if you started learning those skills at 13.
Right. Now I wish.
And not even that. These kids are making millions being internet sensations, not just selling things, just doing things.
Having
and,
a YouTube channel.
Yeah, making money off these YouTube channels.
Yeah, but they do dumb shit, and it goes back to what you said. People are focused on dumb shit. That's why nobody can pay attention to the entrepreneurs that are actually using the internet for good.
The thing that's happening more than anything is there's Sunday morning envy. Everybody wakes up on Sunday morning and looks at their feed, and everybody did cool stuff on Saturday, and people don't realize everybody's just a PR agent for themselves.
Word.
Right? They're not seeing the behind the scenes tough stuff, right? Everybody's seeing the riches. Everybody's looking at the kids flashing tons of $100 bills and all the cars and everything, but they don't realize a lot of those people that got there put in work for 3, 4, 7, 9, 12 years to get to that moment.
Word. That's how you say everyone wants to hang at the finish line without running the race.
100%, man. Listen, if you don't love what you do, if you're a business person, if you're starting a juice company, if you're trying to flip sneakers, and it's 100% about the money, you're gonna lose. If you don't love your process, if you don't love eating the shit along the way, you got 0 shots to hit that huge level. If you don't like taking 1,000 free throws, if you don't like being in the office until midnight, if you don't like waiting in line for 6 hours in the cold to get that thing, you're finished. The people that are winning are the ones who wake up at 4:30, take 2 trains, and get third in line and love it.
Right.
That's real.
Right.
You gotta love the process.
You gotta love. Listen, I love. Why do you think I love the Knicks and Jets so much? I love losing in sports.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I love my man. I love the
Goodness
process. I love looking at Zinger now and I'm like, okay, if Frank gets better, like I love the process.
So you
right?
don't want them to win?
I want it
He wants them to
ultimately.
win. They
I
gotta
want it
win.
ultimately.
They want to win.
But Ange, honestly, it's just like romance and foreplay. Like I want it built up. I wouldn't want to be a 30-year-old Boston fan. I've already won all 4 championships. I'm actually soft. I have no respect for Boston fans under 30. 0. You've won too much. You're not a real fan. Your grandfather, I respect the crap out of. Bill Buckner, devastating losses. The Patriots were 1-15 for years. If you're 30 and you're a big-time sports fan in Boston, you're soft.
But it's not their fault, though. They from Boston.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's
Their
their
dad is a
team.
Boston
It's not
fan.
their fault.
It's just like it's not your fault if you were born into a family that has $100 million. But guess what? You're soft too. I'm not mad. Listen, I'm envious in some ways, but don't walk around like you're a real fan and like you've been through the struggle. I hang out with these kids. They like saying, well, we had it tough. I'm like, no. Your dad had it tough. You're 30. You won 7 championships in 2 minutes. Soft.
Hey, my Giants though, we didn't win it easily. It was a tough win. They were all tough.
But 86.
And we weren't expecting.
Yeah, but 86, you were a youngster. How old were you in 86?
20. 86.
You know,
I was a youngster.
Are you a Yankee fan too?
Absolutely.
Well, then the Knicks needs to be your focus.
I'm a Knicks fan.
It's all about Zinger and Frank and the process now.
You know what? With the Knicks is bad coaching, is bad management.
I get it.
They got a bright side, though. They got the unicorn.
This unicorn's listen. If he stays healthy, that's it. At this point, get
build
him
around him. That's all.
He's some crazy stuff.
He is.
You see a 7 foot, almost 4, like
he can move. He can move the way he can move.
He's got that Eastern European like swag. I like him.
Now explain this line.
Yes.
If you think someone is winning and it's coming out of your pocket, you suck. Explain it.
Yep. So I posted that the other day because basically everything you see from me on Instagram is a reaction to all the comments I get. And I'm confused that people think if somebody else is shining, that's coming out of them. There's unlimited resources.
Right.
And there's unlimited resources. Like, I get that you don't think that, and that's fine. If that's how you see it, you're not going to win anyway. Let me level you up. There's unlimited resources. And so for me, unlike sports where I'll hate on a Jordan or Brady because I'm sad, in real life, you've got to understand you should be applauding the people that are winning, because if you do, you're putting in the right energy into the universe. That karma will come through. If you're spending all your time upset that this guy broke through and you think that was your spot,
Right.
you're finished, man.
Absolutely.
You're finished.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of it. I see a lot of people like, oh, he got lucky. She got lucky. If you're spitting the word luck out of your mouth, you're just not in the right place.
Every spiritual Zen-like person I talk to or read their stuff, they always say, if you ever feel like you're in a position where you're not doing what you want to do, then celebrate somebody else.
That's a really interesting insight, man. Listen, honestly, like, winners win. As much as I don't like it, the Patriots are going to do their thing because they've got winners up and down the organization. Winners win. You can't stop them.
Now, what about your new book?
Yes, comes out in January.
Crushing it.
It's the update to the book that put me on, Crush It.
Crush it.
It's an update on how I think a lot of people listening right now, even while they've got to do their practical job to pay their rent and dues, and like all of us, from 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning, the fact that a lot of people, for example, Anchor. I always want to come here and give a practical advice, not just rah-rah. Anchor. I'm not an investor, because a lot of people think I am because I'm pushing it. Anchor. It's an audio app, and people can start their podcast on it. You just record it. You press one button, and it puts you on iTunes and Spotify and everything.
Really?
Yes. The fact that there's so many people listening here that know about sports, that know about finance, that know about hip hop, the fact that they can start their own podcast, the fact, I'm thinking, like, the fact that when you're commuting home or when you get home at night, right, that you can record a podcast, and then a year later, by putting out a podcast and putting out pictures on Instagram, that you can make $10,000 in sponsor fee from the sodas that ship you cases to a sneaker brand.
That's my soda out
Respect. I see it, and I love that stuff. Like, I just think that people don't realize how much they can build right now. So Crushing It is the update on the blueprint of how to build a personal brand.
You just put everybody on with Anchor, though, because you know how many people come to me and be like, yo, how do I get my podcast on iTunes? How do I get it on SoundCloud? Boom, that's a one-stop shop.
Anchor did it right, man. They were watching, they were paying attention. They have a smart entrepreneur, and he's like, listen, you just listen. The way Anchor works is so crazy. You literally put the phone to your ear, you start recording, you're done. Once you set up the Spotify, you're just done. And so, like, no excuses. Everybody's got a cell phone. You know how powerful that is? Everybody listening right now has the power of a media company in their hand. And that, to me, is game-changing. Crushing it is the step-by-step guide. And there's 11 stories of people that read Crush It 9 years ago and went on to build huge companies.
Great testimonials.
And real detail, right? Because I want to inspire people. Listen, it's a two-part strategy for me. I want the legacy of being the open-sourced entrepreneur. What I mean by that is my stuff is free. And I want people emailing me every day like, you put me on, you put me on, you put me on. It's two things. First, it's mindset. I need people to get out of negativity and dwelling and complaining and excuses. Once you got them out of that place, and you see what I'm doing. I'm trying to suffocate people.
Right.
I'm trying to choke people out with this bullshit. Then you got to give them details.
Yeah, because I would say this about negativity. There's nothing that will ruin things for me more than somebody that's always complaining about everything. I can't take it. It bothers me so much.
That's why I don't like social media.
At some point, if you're complaining too much about something, it's time for you to change the situation. Nobody wants to hear that all the time.
Let's talk about both real quick. I apologize. Social media is easy for me because when I see people complaining, I feel bad. Like when people clown or try to drag people down, and I read your post because I was watching your book and I wanted to kill, so I was reading your comments, even like people on your comments. I feel bad for them. If you're sitting in your house and you got time to hate on somebody in 4 lines on Instagram, you've got 0.0% of winning. That's number one. Number two, Ange, I would say we're getting close to the end of the year now. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Like, if you want a real strategy of winning, if you want to get real deep in a place that is a little more dark and nobody wants to talk about, you need to cut out the negative people out of your life. And the problem is, a lot of times that's your mom.
No, that's real.
Right.
But you don't just mean like your mom in general, but just anybody that's close to you.
I do mean anybody in general, but guess what? Your mom has huge impact. If your mom's been telling you you suck and you're never going to make it and you're going to end up just like us, you're not going to win. And it's hard to cut out your mom. It's not like you need to never talk to her again. But for a lot of people, So I get this email a lot. I give this advice, and it's sometimes your best friend. A lot of people's best friend. A lot of best friends out there right now dragging you down because they know they're going nowhere, and they just want you. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's deep. It's hurt. Listen, I'm not saying this like I don't think this is funny. I don't think I'm like ha ha. But I will say this: it's not that you have to cut your best friend out who's been with you the whole way, and I get it. But talking to him or her once a week is better than twice a day.
Word up.
If the 14 times you talk to them in a week, they're just talking about like, this sucks,
Negative,
you
right.
suck,
Right.
it sucks, Trump this, boss that, fucking that person got, that person got lucky.
Yeah, because eventually you become the sum total of who you talking to.
I have to tell people sometimes, I have to be like, listen, everything cannot be negative all the time. You got to have a different attitude. The reason why things aren't working out for you is because you wake up in the morning depressed, mad at everybody, mad at the world, and that's not going to be beneficial to you.
Can we talk about music for a second?
Yeah,
if we got a second. So I've been spending a lot of time in the last year and a half looking at this. I'm just so blown away by the fact that kids don't have to get discovered by an A&R,
Word.
get signed, right? Get the right distribution, get radio to put them, like all the, like again, knowing that a lot of people listen to the station for music, like if you're such a great rapper, like upload to SoundCloud.
Right.
Yes.
Like it's it's crazy. Go ahead, let's
the problem
talk.
with that is, when people do it and then they be like, well, nobody's listening to my SoundCloud
Because you gotta
nobody knows it
hustle.
exists. You gotta go out and
you gotta
still
hustle.
right?
When but Killy's not saying that in Toronto.
Word up.
He's putting up music and then he's hustling and DMing people and trying to show up on people.
Absolutely.
Like there's people doing it. The fact that you could eat. I mean, you're right. But the fact that they even have that opportunity.
You're right.
Versus going into studio, getting a demo, playing shows, having an AR miraculously be there that night, having a good meeting with L.A. Reid, getting signed, having MTV put you on. Like, it was impossible.
Before, yep.
Now, every day, there's people, and whether Rap Caviar decides to put you on, whether you guys mention it, you got people sitting right here every day. I watch you guys putting people on every day.
And those are people who have created their own buzz from the internet.
Yeah, there's little shows. Jumper, he's doing his thing. Adam, everybody, everybody's just he created a platform for people. They go there, then they graduate and come here. Like, it's crazy. But just put out music.
Absolutely.
And to your point, put out music and don't just think the music's gonna get it done.
Gotta
start
continue to push,
DMing pretty
hustle.
people on Instagram. Be like, start hitting up vlogger. Listen, you want the real hack? I'll give you the hack right now. Put out music and then spend 3 hours going on YouTube. Watch people that have a lot of views on their vlogs and email them and say on YouTube and say, hey, you need some music in your vlogs during the intro, the outro. Here's some music. You get one of those vlogs to put your song on. It can change. I put Saba, Saba from Chicago. He's on Chance's album, great artist. I put his Monday to Monday song as because it was all about hustle and he mentioned me, so I was happy. I put, right?
That's a good one to do.
It's his most listened to song on Spotify. Like, it's out there. And by the way, my blog's good, but there's kids out there, Jake and Logan Paul. Like, there's people out there with way bigger 15-year-old fans to the get. You remember Good Charlotte?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do you know how Good Charlotte got put on? Good Charlotte was a small band. Nobody knew who they were. And for the Madden 90 whatever, when you were making your fantasy team, they played Good Charlotte. You just kept hearing it, and that's it. You get into the intro song on a vlog of some kid that gets 1 million views a day.
And what's that record?
It's just like radio,
Absolutely.
man. Once you keep playing it, you know how many songs are corny as hell, but they play it so much.
That's why they call it programming, radio programming. Program you to like it.
You're just like dropping it all the time.
Now, you said don't train for skill, train for mindset. And you say the skill is a commodity, the mindset is everything. Those are two of your quotes I put together.
Everybody says, Gary, how do I do it? I'm like, go to Google. How do I get Instagram influencers to use me? You go to Google and you type in, how do I get Instagram influencers to use me? You go, how do I start a Shopify store to sell T-shirts, right? Everybody listens. So many people want to sell T-shirts, right? Good. Go set up a Shopify store. It costs nothing, right? People ask, how do I do that? I'm like, go to Google.
Right.
We have Google. You don't have to go to some bullshit library. You have Google, right? So the skills, how do I upload something? How do I mix a track? How do I make a GIF? How do I make a pre-roll? All of it is free information on Google.com. So I've realized, wait a minute, it's not that stuff, it's mindset. I'm not going to teach you how to do the thing step by step. That's on YouTube on a video that you can watch 4 times and then you figure it out.
Word.
It's the thing we've talked about the whole time, which is if you are not in the optimism offense business, you're not coming out the gate, man. You're not coming out the gate. Like, I get it, and the world's pressure and friends around, everything we talked about, politics, the friends around you, you got to tune it all out.
And you always say you're not lost in life, you're just early in the process. I love that because I tell kids that all the time.
One, man.
I love that.
That, I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of people are about to get some value. Listen, everybody. If you're under 30, you got your whole life ahead of you. Once you 27 deciding you didn't make it because you saw some 22-year-old that did make it, you're just early. I didn't make anything until 34 is when I started my thing.
Right.
34. 34 is when things started happening. I built my dad's business. I left that business. I owned nothing. I love when people are like, don't listen to Gary Vee. His dad I built my dad's business for him. I left at 34, had no net worth, nothing. No bank would have done anything with me. I didn't make a lot of money because we were building the business, pouring it back into business. By the way, everybody who's got a little bit of a business going on, this is advice for your son. You don't take that money and buy dumb shit, put it back into business. That's how you buy real stuff. Right. Everybody gets a little coin, gets a little,
Right.
Anyway, nonetheless, yeah, man, life is long. How old are you?
Almost 40.
39, that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
38.
Oh, 38? Could you have ever imagined feeling this young at 38?
I go back to that.
No, when you were 17, when you were 22,
No.
did you
40
think,
at 17 was
it's weird.
old,
Like, it's
old.
like, yeah,
There's
like,
no way you would, right?
but I don't know
absolutely.
what feeling old means.
No. What I'm saying is, did you think at 17 that you would have this much swag, this much energy, this much hunger
No,
at
no,
38?
no, I
No
didn't.
way.
No, I didn't.
You were
I
already
didn't.
in like,
You're right. No,
that's right.
I didn't.
Because we were there. That's what I'm trying to get these 23-year-olds. They want it so bad. You know why they want it? They're insecure. They want success because they want to prove to their dad that the dad was wrong and they are good. They want to prove it to the girl. They want to prove it to their buddies that, yeah, you got better grades and went to a better college than me, but I'm hustling here and I made it. So they're taking shortcuts. What they don't realize is it's going to feel twice as good at 30 because that means people slept on you longer.
Absolutely.
People clowned on me. When I was 29, here was the narrative on Gary Vee. He works for his dad's liquor store in New Jersey. Because we grew up in the college era, where the college you went to was how good you were. There was none of this entrepreneurship.
Right.
So I was in my dad's, there was no internet. People didn't know what I was up to. People didn't know I was already building a big business. It was, and all my friends a bunch of my friends went to Wall Street, made a couple $100,000 real quick, bought a BMW. I wasn't buying anything fancy. I still don't have anything fancy, right? Now they're starting to figure it out, though. And so, it's a marathon.
Yeah,
and everybody's
absolutely.
trying to get, a picture with, some new Louis Vuittons on so, everybody thinks that they've done good. Fuck that.
Gary, what do you splurge on? Do you splurge?
Jets hats.
I splurge.
Jets hats.
I splurge on not much. I'll splurge on vacations.
That's what I was going to
That's
ask.
me.
'Cause it is vacation
Experience.
time coming up.
Yeah,
Experiences.
experience is
Word.
huge. So, to me, so for my 40th birthday, I paid for my entire family. I'm talking everybody, 14 people deep. And I took the whole family to Disney World because I wanted my kids and their cousins to do Disney together for the first time. And I knew there was no way it was going to happen with my sister and my brother-in-law. And I was like, it's not going to happen. Somebody's going to be like, I can't. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to use my 40th birthday as the framework to suffocate and trick them all into doing it. That's a memory I'll, when I'm
Gotcha.
finished, when I'm 92 and I'm laying there, I'm like, I did Disney at 40,
Yeah.
Experiences.
Yeah, the crazy part is I didn't go on vacation till about 4 years ago. I just never
get
had the
it.
time. I was like, I'll go on vacation later. But
get it.
now, I go on vacation twice a year. And like you, I try to bring everybody so everybody can experience it.
Because you love being around the people you love.
Absolutely.
Listen, patience, 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 patience. This is a marathon. Don't worry. If you could get into the place that I'm at in my dome, which is you care about you respect everybody's opinion and the angle where they come from. You have empathy. Okay, you grew up like this. You come from there. You want this. You have empathy. I have empathy to why people say things about me. But the way to get better about social media is you just have to have empathy. If you stick with me because I want you to win. Because the more you spend time with your community in social over the next decade, the more you're going to win. And if you're reading all this bullshit, it becomes depressing. I get it. Even who's I feel it. But if you can have empathy to why they're saying it, and then get into the place of just truly not caring of what people think, regardless, that's the magic.
I don't think they're worth a response, though.
What's that?
I don't think they're worth a response. Like when somebody says something negative to you, I don't think it's worth responding.
When I respond, do you know what happens? There's an appreciation from the other 93% that love you that you're not just worried about when it's good for you. There's a respect. Mm-hmm. When people see me reply to somebody who says, you suck, you're a charlatan, you know, like when I come on this, they're like, don't listen to him, listen to Dame Dash, screw that white dude, right? Like that kind of stuff, right?
They say that?
Yeah, they say like Gary and Dame are saying the same stuff, which may be true. I got, you know, like.
Y'all are to a certain extent, I will say that.
Which is amazing, which would make sense to me, which is why Dame had wins. Like it would make sense to me. I'm not mad at that person. I'm empathetic because I understand the narrative and culture in life. And so when I respond to that person in your guys' YouTube, which is what I do, when this airs, I'm going to go into the YouTube and read everything. And a lot of it's going to be phenomenal, right? Thank God, appreciate it. But 20%'s not. And I'm going to respond to those as well. And what the other 80%, when they see that you have the respect and the skill set and the framework to be empathetic to other people's points of view. Listen, what do you think's going on out there? Nobody's hearing the other. Like, you have to have empathy and respect to other points of view. Otherwise, you can't be big.
But you know some of these guys are just trolls. And you know it's the old saying, never complain, never explain. Like, I don't got time to be explaining myself to these motherfuckers.
Listen, that's because you think it's explaining yourself. To me, I'm trying to educate other people that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Got you.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to win this thing on a macro, you've got to come in from all angles. Not, you know, and so, listen, if you think I give a shit about anybody's point of view on me, you're confused. But I have enormous empathy and I can see it. And if you're just watching me on one clip and you don't know my narrative, I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah. And because you're another human and you're adding your 2 cents, I'll jump on top and add my 2 cents. Now we got 4 cents and we'll see where it ends up.
There you go. Now when these performance sneakers dropping, man?
Today.
Oh.
Today.
Wow, on your birthday.
Wow.
On your birthday.
On my birthday.
All right, well, get them right now, kswiss.com. And we appreciate you for joining us as usual.
I love you guys. I hope you have a great holiday.
We missing anything?
No.
The book coming out in January, crushing it.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's January 30th.
Jets 4-6. Yeah, you know.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Listen.
You like losing.
Listen, there's some swag on that team. You see that dance?
Yeah.
That dance was, honestly.
Oh, my God. You got to the point where you just have a nigga dance?
Adams?
They have a nigga dance. You see what they're dancing?
Hey, you see, they've got, listen, here's what I'm happy about. This is real Jets talk right now for the couple of fans listening. Our locker room last year was not in the right place. This year.
They can dance.
They can definitely dance, but more importantly, they're getting along really interesting to me, really correctly. I think it's a framework for the future. I like the foundation we're putting together.
Okay. All right, well, Gary V, ladies and gentlemen.
My guy.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.